You might have heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But when it comes to self-publishing on Amazon KDP, this could not be further from the truth. On Amazon, everybody is judging your book by its cover, and in this video, I'll show you how I created the cover for my upcoming book. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Taylor the Ecom RN, and I started self-publishing on Amazon KDP in 2023. I went on to have some pretty good success in my first year of publishing, and I wanted to document as I continue to grow this business and hopefully inspire and encourage others to do the same. I've been documenting step by step behind the scenes how I'm launching my next book, so if you don't want to miss out, be sure to subscribe. All right, let's dive into this quick video. I'll give you a brief update on the book so far and show you how I made my cover. All right, so here I am in my Author Central page, and just to catch anyone up who's just now tuning into this series, these are the two books that I'm using as the groundwork, as the foundation for my upcoming book. So I have two books here that focus on basically med math or dosage calculations for nursing students, and they're both workbooks. They're both focused primarily on just getting practice, just getting repetitions of doing these practice problems. And you can see here that they're both currently for sale at $14.99. And so my plan with this book is to bundle these two books together, to take the interiors of these two books, smash them together into one book, make a new cover, and list that book at $19.99. Just to give you a little sense of what the competition is like in this niche, these are the two best-selling books in this niche. You can see this is kind of like the textbook, more theoretical, and this is their workbook. And as far as the price points go, you see this one's $23 and this one's $16, a little bit over that. But essentially my strategy here is to try to come in and offer my bundled workbooks at $19.99 and kind of split the difference of these two bestseller books, be below the $20 price point or right at that $19.99 price point, which I think could steer some people from this book to mine. You never know, but that's kind of the thought process behind it. Of course, this is just kind of theoretical. This is my best guess and kind of my strategy behind what is going on with my price point, but just wanted to give you a little insight into my thought process as to why I plan to price the book at $19.99. All right, and if you watched the last video, I did successfully have those two interior manuscripts reformatted into one single manuscript. One of the issues was that I had a lot of blank pages like this. Now this blank page is intentional. I went over that in the previous video, but essentially I don't like to have anything on the back side of my title page. And then I like to have my table of contents page here be the next page that's face up, that the reader sees after they flip past the title page. And remember that this came out to be 138 pages in total length. That's important because when you design your cover, you need to take into account how many pages the manuscript is, because that's going to determine the size of the cover. Essentially, the wider the spine is, the thicker the book, the longer the cover document has to be in order to wrap all the way around and bind the book successfully, not have pages sticking out. And as you might remember, I like to do a lot of this freelancer work on Upwork. And so this gentleman here, Seth McCumbee, no affiliation or anything. He just did great work and very, very quickly. I paid him $100 to reformat the interior manuscripts and get that ready to go. All right, so let's get into the actual cover design and development. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up that if you have any questions at all about self-publishing, you can always reach out and book a call with me. It's completely free. We can have a little chat and you can ask me any questions you might have. The link is in the description. So I've been working with this gentleman here, Mikola Shalepa. He's a fantastic graphic artist. I really like working with him. He's done a lot of covers for me. Unfortunately, I believe he is in Ukraine. And so the last couple years, as you can imagine, has been a little chaotic for him over there. I'm just very glad to hear that he's well and that he was available to help me with this project. So I reached out to him after some time of not hearing from him and he was available. And I said I would like help with the new cover design. And then this is what he told me, right? He wants the book title, he wants the subtitle, the author name or the pen name, the format that you want the cover formatted for. So whether it's an ebook, a paperback, a hardcover, audiobook, etc., and what platform you're going to sell it on. And then, he just likes to have a little bit more information about the book, who's it for, what's the main idea or theme, who's the target audience, and then any references. So this is pretty standard. If you are planning to work with a freelancer, this is the kind of information that you want to give them so that they have a good idea of what you have in mind. So I came back to him with all that information. You can see here, I gave him the title and the subtitle, my author name, the format is paperback. It's going to be on Amazon KDP. And for this part here, the length, I said approximately 145 pages because I hadn't totally finished the interior manuscript left, and I let him know that that's not the exact length. And that's fine because initially he just started working on the front cover, and so we could start working on that while I was still finalizing the interior manuscript, getting that exact length. So I told him what this book was, and the great thing about this project was that I already had two previous books published, right, in the same exact niche, and I was able to just send him, that's what these big links are, I just sent him the links to both of these books And I sent him the PDF files of these books' covers because that's going to come in handy for the back cover design that I wanted on this book. And it gave him some insight into what I had in mind for this book. Okay, so it was about 5 days or so turnaround here, I think, for him to come back with this design. And you can see this is pretty nice. I like this. One thing that I like about this is that it's on a dark background. Now, this is a little detail, a little pro tip that maybe you haven't thought about if you're self-publishing on Amazon. But remember that on Amazon, the background is white. And so if you have a light colored book cover, like a white cover or a cream color or something that's light in color, it doesn't really pop off the page. It doesn't really catch anyone's eye. It's very easy to scroll past because it blends in with the background. So I always try to launch books with a dark color cover so that they stand out, they pop off that white page, that white background on Amazon. And here was the initial design. So this was cool, and we'll see here I go back and forth with him to actually dial in this design a little bit more in detail. And I'll just show you that process. All I do, it's very simple. I take a screenshot of this and then I just mark it up. So I just open up that screenshot and I tell him, okay, this is how I would like it reformatted. And these are the changes that I would like. And we go from there. I send that back to him and I say, these are my revision requests. And he goes, okay, no problem. And then he comes back with more iterations. I took my favorite of those two and we did it again. So I took another screenshot. I had a couple more things I wanted cleaned up and I sent that back to him. He kept working on it and I said, cool, that looks pretty good. Let's get started on the back cover, right? The design for the back of the cover. And I gave him the updated page count of 138. And I told him what I wanted for the layout for the back. And I told him what text I wanted on the back. Okay. And I sent him some other things. I sent him another QR code. I always like to include a QR code. And I told him to leave space for the Amazon KDP barcode. Okay. So when you publish on Amazon, you have the option to let Amazon place their own barcode on there. I always like to do that because I'm not selling this book on any other platform or through any other distribution company. So I don't need my own barcode for anyone else to scan. I only need Amazon to scan it. And if they can just provide their own barcode and put it and print it on the cover themselves, that makes it much easier. You just have to leave space. And this is what he came up with initially for the entire cover design. You can see here, this is the spine. So this is what changes depending on the length of your interior manuscript. How many pages your book is will change how wide the spine is. And that will change the overall size of this PDF document, this file. And so that's why they need to know the exact length of the book in order to format this correctly. Okay, and then you can see the original iteration of the back cover design. I wanted to make it as clear as possible that people are getting 2 books in one, right? That's kind of like a selling point for this book. I want people to understand that they're getting 2 books, and I want them hopefully to understand that both of these books are $14.99 each. And if they buy them together in this bundle book, they're going to save essentially $10. They're going to get it for $19.99 instead of the combined price, which would be almost $30. So I really want to advertise that on this cover. So on this one, it's a little reserved. On the front cover, it just says 2 books in one. But on the back, I wanted to change this and I wanted to make some alterations. So that's what I told him to do here. I took a screenshot as always, and I just wrote out and drew what I wanted changed. I wanted a little bit more verbiage up here to make this pop, and I wanted a little plus sign in between the 2 covers so that people understood they're getting both of these books included in one. And we went back and forth, and then here we go. This was the final iteration of the book cover. Don't mind these blue lines and stuff. That doesn't actually come across in the final file. But you can see here, I had him match this font here to the color of the main title text so that it kind of pops out more. It's bigger and it says includes 2 books in one to really advertise what's going on here. Little plus sign with the 2 other book covers that are included in this book. And then I had him bold some text here. This is just kind of some sales copy here. So I wanted to sell the book a little bit. The way I come up with this kind of stuff is really simple. I just go on ChatGPT and tell it what the book is about and ask it to write a short description that advertises the key selling points, right? And then I just sent that to him. Then you can see here, I've got my logo, I've got the QR code to my website, and then this space here is left blank intentionally. Amazon is going to print their barcode in that space. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And if we look here, I paid $70 to have that done. And I think that's very reasonable. Again, this is not an area that I recommend you skimp on or try to bootstrap. Your book cover is so important. Everyone is judging your book by its cover. It's the main selling point for your book. It really has to stand out. So don't go cheap on the cover. I highly recommend working with a professional if you are not a professional at graphic design, and pay them as much as you need to get that project done well. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. We've got the manuscript, we've got the cover, we're pretty much ready to publish. And so to do that, I'm going to go here to this create button button, but that'll be the topic of an upcoming video. I'd like to know from you guys, usually before I publish a book, I actually get it copyrighted. I go on the US copyright website and I get the manuscript copyrighted officially. It costs about $50. Takes me about 15 minutes to do myself online, fairly straightforward. But on this book, because I already have copyrighted both interior manuscripts, I don't really think it's necessary. I don't really feel like doing it. So unless somebody comments and tells me that they want to see how to copyright a book, I'm going to skip over that step and just go straight into how I actually publish it on Amazon KDP and walk you through step by step how to publish your book. So let me know in the comments if you want to see me go through the copyright process. I'm happy to make a video. If not, then stay tuned and you can watch me actually publish this book myself on Amazon KDP, go through step by step. And then what I think will be interesting to show you guys as well is how I send out my pre-launch emails, how I do email marketing for my book launch. This ties into how I get reviews for my books when they first go live. So I'll be showing you guys exactly how I make this email and send it out to my email list, as well as how I get my email list to begin with. I'll go over that, and I'll show you guys how I get reviews for my books on Pubbie. So that's what's on the agenda. Let me know if there's any particular video you'd like me to make, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you have any specific questions that you don't feel comfortable sharing publicly, you can always reach out in the link to this video and book a call with me one-on-one. All right, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please leave a like. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment, particularly if you are interested in seeing how I copyright my books. This is kind of a tedious and boring step that I don't really feel like documenting, but if you guys want to see it, let me know and I'll make a video. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.